as I mentioned a little earlier, supergroups tend to be a very common trend in the market today, whether they're single specialty or multi-specialty. So we thought this case would be, of interest to many of you. So the profile here was a group of physicians. I'd say about 10 to 15 physicians in a similar geographic area, multi-specialty, ranging from like primary care. We had GI, we had cardiology, so on and so forth. And their challenge was, given what we talked about earlier on the economic side, their challenge was really they were noticing that their revenue streams were not as sustainable as they used to be. They were taking cuts year over year on the revenue side. On the flip end of that, like we talked about, their costs were continuing to rise and their margins were shrinking or even disappearing. And so what they really wanted to do was create a platform where they could come together and leverage one another and become more efficient and have a little more safety net in terms of sharing the patients and so on and so forth. So the solution with this group was, we analyzed and assessed how each practice that was coming in was operating in the old world and what their opportunities and capabilities would be in the joint world, and really help them come under one tax ID number as a super group that's multi-specialty, that also allowed them the new cream, if you would, from the revenue side, was to bring in ancillary services in which they could participate and share on those ancillary offerings. So it was a way to hopefully increase their revenue streams when you look at that equation by adding a new set of revenues that used to be outsourced, if you will, to third parties, as well as on the cost side become more efficient and nimble due to the economies of scale and the leveraging of the infrastructure. So the result here was, I think we ended up having about 60 to 70 physicians sign up on board for this group, and they were, again, multi-specialty. They were able to enhance their profit and loss. They were able to retain their own independence. They were physician-owned, physician-managed entirely, so they didn't have other individuals or institutions, if you will, involved. So they were able to maintain their values and their cultures in many ways. And at the same time, they had these ancillary services that were an add-on to their old world of practicing that they were allowed to share and then meet all the compliance from a legal Stark perspective. So that was a case of growth and supergroup formation.